Hello Namibia, welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we get to catch up on current events and headlines. My name is Priska Anyolo and you are watching NMH at 1. Good news came on Friday when it was announced that government's commitment to address labor and sex slavery and support victims of human trafficking has earned Namibia a top ranking in the 2020 United States Trafficking in Persons Annual Report. Namibia is the only country that joins 34 out of 188 countries that achieved a Tier 1 ranking this year. Now on to less happy news. By late yesterday, Namibia has had 183 confirmed cases of COVID-19 after 33 new positive test results were announced for Walvis Bay. Since Wednesday, more than 900 people were tested in the harbour town. By Friday, more than 500 contacts of positive cases were traced. A total of 3,342 tests were done in the Commerce region by Saturday. This is the highest number per region. The lowest number of tests, 64, was thus far conducted in the Kavango East and West regions. Looking at official quarantine numbers as it stood on Friday, the number of people in quarantine remains stable, with only 41 people entering quarantine, while 12 individuals were discharged. On Saturday, 19 people entered quarantine and 13 were discharged. In today's NMH headlines, Allgemeine Zeitung leads with mass COVID testing starting in Walvis Bay. That unfortunately is going hand in hand with the blame game and stigmatization. In the same vein, the Namibian Sun leads with the news that the Health Ministry says Namibians should prepare themselves for a corona peak that is still coming. Republican also leads with a COVID-19 article. Sorry about that. Apologies for that hiccup due to technical difficulties. As I was saying, on the Republican, it leads with a COVID-19 article saying that Prime Minister Saraku Amadila has warned that not adhering to regulations to curb the illness may have disastrous consequences. In news from other dailies, the Namibian reports on how SWAPO members of parliament last week rejected a motion to discuss the impact of the policy of national reconciliation has had since independence. This follows a motion by SWANU leader Tangeni Iyambo wanting lawmakers to specifically look at the plight of forgotten segments of the population. New Era Today reports on how poor sanitation and a lack of proper housing exacerbates the spread of COVID-19. From inside the dailies, the AZ reports on how NamWater has warned that despite good rains, Namibia can still expect major water shortages. Continuing with water woes, the Namibia Sun's Kenya Kambowe reports from Mpungu in Kavango West that only 50% of residents have access to clean drinking water. Inside the Republican today is the report that the Ministry of Finance plans to tackle fraud related to tax evasion yet again. From further afield, the Nampa reports on that mourners from all over the country had gathered at the Mukwe in the Kavango East to pay their respects to the former Education Director and Regional Secretary of the SWAPO Party Elders Council, Alphonse Mayavero Dikua, on Saturday. Dikua died aged 66 at his house in Rundu on the 19th of June 2020. From the Oshana region, Nampa reports that Kambalona Trading Company on Friday donated 131 fruit trees to 12 schools in the Ondangwa urban constituency to be planted for landscaping at the constituency. Closer to home, Windhoek Express's Yolanda Nell visited the SPCA in Windhoek while they were hosting a cats, coffee and cake event on Saturday. June is Shelter Cat Adoption Month, and while at the SPCA, cat lovers enjoyed picking out a cat and providing them with a forever home.
So, why are events like this so important for the SPCA?
So adoption events is really important because obviously we have a lot of animals coming in. On any given year, it's nearly 4,000 animals, and almost half of them are cats. So this is International Adopt a Shelter Cat Month. So it's really celebrating the cats in our lives and trying to get them a home. And obviously when it comes to dog events, it's equally important to rehome dogs. So it's all for an initiative, an extra initiative to really try and rehome as many animals as possible.
Okay, and what events do you have planned for the rest of the year?
So we're just, because of the obviously coronavirus and the different stages that we're in, because of the uncertainty, we're really kind of addressing it on a case-by-case basis, just as much of the country are currently doing, because it's such an uncertain time. So we do also have some virtual campaigns, so financial campaigns and drives like that. So even if it's not a kind of a live event with people interactions, there will be online things as well. So as we go on throughout this year, hopefully we'll be able to know better what we're up against. So,
and how has the pandemic impacted the SPCA?
One of the things that we've really seen is a decrease in adoptions, unfortunately. It's been about an equal amount of animals coming in still, which is quite troubling because we're so dependent on people adopting animals to really be able to push these animals out. Obviously financial impact, because the coronavirus is hitting businesses hard, and therefore private individuals as well. And we see that one of the first things that get cut is sponsorships and donations.
What cute and cuddly pets indeed. Our next insert comes from Marisol Stoffberg, who visited Windhoek High School this morning, where grade 11 and 12 learners are continuing with their schooling.
Jullie komen wat
As already mentioned earlier, here's a quick insert of Ambassador Lisa Johnson, who is an American ambassador, in connection with the government's commitment to sex slavery and addressing support victims of human trafficking.
Good day. This is U.S. Ambassador Lisa Johnson. Today, I am happy to announce that the government of Namibia has been upgraded to a Tier 1 country in the 2020 Trafficking in Persons Report for fully meeting the minimum standards for the elimination of human trafficking. Namibia is the only country in Africa to achieve a Tier 1 ranking this year, joining 34 nations globally. A country's tier ranking reflects its government's efforts to meet the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking in persons. While Tier 1 is the highest ranking, it does not mean that a country has no human trafficking problem or that it is doing enough to address it. All Tier 1 countries, which includes the United States and now Namibia, still have room for improvement. All governments should strive to continually strengthen their efforts to fight this terrible crime and to fully protect the victims. Over the past year, Namibia has made great strides in the fight against human trafficking, in particular by bringing into force the Combating of Trafficking in Persons Act of 2018. While there still is more work to be done, Namibia should be very proud of its efforts to increase public awareness of human trafficking, to bring traffickers to justice, and to provide essential services to trafficking victims. I would like to personally congratulate the government of Namibia, NGO and civil society organizations, and international organizations for their collaboration and dedication to combating human trafficking in Namibia.
Moving on to our sports news, Hollard Insurance and Hollard My Life dominated the men and women's categories of the Windhoek Pedal Power Team time trial event in the capital on Sunday. Also, the Namibia Rugby Union Council at its annual general meeting held here on Saturday voted for the game of rugby to resume with its activities. And with that, we have reached the end of our show. My name is Priska Agnolo, and thank you so much for watching NMH at 1. Please remember to keep yourself, your friends, and your family safe against our fight of COVID-19. Please do stay tuned for the weather.